Since the beginning of the Showa era, many of the kaiju that fans know have gone through many changes during the early stages of production. Over the years, Godzilla and his characters have gone through various designs and some sketches that never made it to the big screen. Often, rejection of artwork is due to a lack of connection between the artist's style and the tone of the film. Sometimes entire films are scrapped, eliminating any chance of seeing those ideas come to fruition. In this video we will focus on those sketches to talk about what are, for us, the 10 best discarded Godzilla designs. Jared Krichevsky's Mechagodzilla. During the pre-production phase of Godzilla vs. Kong, director Adam Wingard was steadfast in his desire to avoid any resemblance to Michael Bay's Transformers series. Wingard preferred the more simplistic designs of the original Transformers animated series and wanted Mechagodzilla's new design to feel current, but without the overly complex moving parts of Bay's Autobots and Decepticons. Jared Krichevsky's design was two Transformers for the Godzilla vs. Kong director, as it looked a lot like the Dinobots. While the design was eventually scrapped, Krichevsky's original concept remains as impressive as it is intimidating thanks to his red eyes and sinister Terminator-style smile. The alternate Godzilla of the Monsterverse. Director Gareth Edwards was given the difficult task of reinventing Godzilla for American audiences after Roland Emmerich's iguana-like Kaiju delivered disappointing results. While Edwards settled on a bear-like monster with hints of dog, eagle, and Komodo dragon, the original concept art alluded to a more standard reptilian dinosaur reminiscent of the Godzilla design seen in Marvel Comics. While these renderings of Godzilla by artist Greg Broadmoor bear some familiarity with the iconic Tyrannosaurus Rex design from Jurassic Park, they would have been perfectly appropriate considering the monster is classified as a theropod. Broadmoor also infused traits from past incarnations, including an upright stance and pointed dorsal fins that recall the aesthetics of turn-of-the-century Godzilla. 8. Rokmutul. Similar in appearance to Anguirus, Rokmutul is a discarded titan that was planned to be the main enemy of the 2014 Godzilla film designed by Frank Hong and Josh Nizzi. Unlike Anguirus, the armored reptilian monster contains an extra pair of legs. Rokmutul would have battled the Godzilla T-Rex from the previous stand atop Alcatraz prison while a picturesque sunset bathes the Golden Gate Bridge in the background. As it turned out, Rokmutul was essentially a stand-in for the MUTOs in the early pre-production stages of 2014's Godzilla reboot. However, the Titan could still appear in the Monsterverse if Legendary so chooses. 7. The alternate King Ghidorah of the Monsterverse. In line with the Showa and Heisei era versions, King Ghidorah's aesthetic in Michael Dougherty's Godzilla, King of the Monsters is heavily influenced by the Oriental dragons of Chinese folklore. However, before Legendary decided on a more traditional design for Ghidorah, artist Ken Barthelemy wanted the ancient alien to have a more alien appearance. To achieve a more supernatural look, Barthelemy redesigned Ghidorah's three heads to look less like dragons and more like sea eels. With its elongated, scaly neck and thin, mustache-like beards, this aquatic offering of Godzilla's aerial archenemy is indicative of the unknown terrors that lurk in the depths of the ocean. Less conventional, but much scarier, especially considering its disturbing bat wings. 6. The discarded form of Shin Godzilla. Although this disturbing piece of Shin Godzilla concept art technically appeared in a deleted scene, it sadly never made it into the final version. Creator Hideaki Anno, known for infusing body horror into his works, graphically depicts Shingoji's agonizing evolution in a scene that may be too gruesome for younger viewers. More disturbing than its teratoma-like design is the implication of the creature's asexual abilities, also hinted at in the film's gruesome final scene. Anno's reinterpretation of the classic monster, and its various forms, is certainly ambitious, and this visceral piece of nightmare fuel shows just how far he was willing to push the limits to make the most unique incarnation of Godzilla in cinema history. 5. The Griffin. Once upon a time, before TriStar Pictures released the much-maligned 1998 Godzilla, the studio greenlit a script by Terry Rosario and Ted Elliott with Jan de Bont directing. Although the American Godzilla was a huge failure, There was a promise at the time that an American adaptation would reach the heights of one of Toho's productions. Creature designer Stan Winston, best known for his work on The Thing, Aliens, and Jurassic Park, created an original kaiju based on Rosario and Elliott's script. Inspired by the legendary hybrid of Egyptian, Mesopotamian, Persian, Minoan, Greek and Roman mythology, the Griffin is an alien who acquires DNA from a puma, a snake and a bat. Unfortunately, this impressive giant never made his film debut. However, fans can now delight in a graphic novel adaptation of the original script titled Godzilla, 94. 4. Godzilla from 1994. To reiterate, the defunct Godzilla, 94 had all the ingredients to pay a fitting tribute to the Toho films. With Stan Winston's creative team on board, a promising new villain, and the king of the monsters traditionally portrayed as a metaphor for nuclear weapons, it's truly unfortunate that TriStar Pictures wasted such potential. Unlike the slimmer, iguana-like appearance of 1998's Godzilla, Godzilla, 94 featured a design much closer to the original monster despite its duck-billed snout and squid-like scales. Alligator. Most notable is his upright posture that accentuates Godzilla's imposing height. 3. Biollante's alternative design. Popular among fans of Godzilla, the botanical antagonist of Godzilla vs. Biollante is one of the most distinctive kaijus of the genre. Conceived by splicing Godzilla's DNA with a rose that had been previously modified from the cells of a deceased woman, Biollante is a scientific monstrosity that comes in multiple forms. Because of this, Biollante went through several designs during the film's production. Before appearing as the iconic tendril-laden rose that mutates into a Venus flytrap-like creature with crocodile jaws, artist Shinji Nishikawa altered the kaiju's anatomy, giving it a reptile-like appearance with vegetative physical features. Unlike the final form, a chaos of plant tissue, Nishikawa's concept shows a more balanced amalgam between Godzilla and a rose, with petals replacing dorsal plates, roots emerging from the foot, and vines that tangle to form a line. 2. Shin Godzilla's final form. Had Hideaki Anno fully developed his strange vision, Shin Godzilla would have been almost unrecognizable compared to the rest of the franchise. Implications from the final frames suggest that the next evolution of the now frozen monster would have had creepy humanoid creatures emerging from its tail with a huge mouth and sharp teeth. Anno sought to portray nature incarnate as an agent of chaos that restored order to a world infested by man. Since Shin Goji is reminiscent of an angel from Neo Genesis Evangelion, it makes sense that Anno would have radical ideas about the iconic kaiju that would eventually be resurrected as an army of angelic monsters that would bring about the end of the human race. It's interesting to think about what could have been, but in a film that's already so experimental, the inclusion of this final form would certainly have divided fan opinion. 1. The alternate Godzilla Final Wars design. Artist Yasushi Nirasawa, known for his character designs and work on Kamen Rider, was once commissioned to design a new version of the King of the Monsters for Godzilla Final Wars. Its design was built with angular anatomical features, asymmetry and abundant muscular details that gave it a demonic aesthetic. Nirasawa's sensitivity to horror was evident with this wickedly menacing version of the kaiju, which contained serrated dorsal plates, pointed features, long claws, and a crimson torso. Finally, director Ryuhei Kitamura opted for another design that combined the features of multiple versions from previous eras. While this fierce-looking version of Godzilla never made its way to Japan, the design proved popular enough that Tease Facto released a Godzilla figure inspired by this design. For now, that's all for this video. Let us know which of these discarded designs is your favorite and if you think they are better than the final designs. If you want to know more discarded designs, we recommend watching this video where we talk about some discarded monsters from the Godzilla franchise. We are the Comic Awakens and we will see each other in the next video.